White people aren't racist if they avoid black people. If you go out of your way to avoid black people, you're not racist. Why would you want to be put in a predicament? You never know what's going to happen. You truly don't. You could look at them wrong and they get mad and loud and aggressive. So if avoiding black people for your own safety is racism now, well then I guess I'm racist. I guess I care more about my well-being and my family and my life. So I'll take it. I guess I'll be racist if that's...
Oh, hold on, okay. She said if you look at them wrong. If you look at black people wrong, are you going around looking at people wrong is my question. What are you talking about? Anyway, let's continue.
That's what it means. Because it means a million things. It means a million things. I feel like we have enough to deal with in this world, let alone people that live in the cities can't even take public transportation. They can't even go into a gas station. They can't even go into a store. When I go to the city, I avoid certain gas stations. I know that that's the cracky gas station. I know that's the ghetto gerbs. I know it. You can just look at it and you know exactly what you're going to get when you...
Oh, lady, stop.
Go in there. Just like...
Lady, stop. I've seen so many white people go into gas stations in the hood. It ain't funny. What is you talking about, lady? I mean, if you're white, you're probably less likely to have anything done to you. What are you talking about? And the most important thing is the stats don't confirm what you're saying at all. White people lead in violent crime. By far, they lead in all categories of violent crime except for two. And there's over 24 of categories. So what are you talking about? Like I mentioned before, 8 out of 10 white people who are unalived are alive by another white person. So what are you talking about? Ain't nobody bothering you.
Going to Popeyes in the city, just like going to Cane's in the city, just like going to KFC in the city, just like going to Burger King in the city. God forbid they fuck your order up. God forbid. You take it back one time, you get an attitude. They mess it up again, you take it back again. They're about to throw hands. They're going to throw hands over food. I'm sick of people telling white people that they're racist because...
Really? This is crazy talk. Like, are you saying that this is what happens most of the time when people bring back food or, point out that they got the wrong order at a Popeyes in the hood? Do you know how unbelievable that is? Even in the hood. Now, I heard a reaction to this video from, I think his name is Don, something to Don. Reaction from the Don or something like that. And he said that he didn't grow up in the hood. But he still, he responded to this video. Well, I grew up in hoods. Not just the hood, several different hoods. And I've never had an issue going into a gas station, a restaurant, or no other business in the hood. Now, that could be partially due to the fact that I look like one of the robbers. I look like one of the people who might slap you up. But I ain't even never seen nothing go down in any of these places. But okay, if you say so in your imaginary world, lady.
Because they want to avoid confrontation. There's a difference between avoiding confrontation and being afraid of confrontation. We're not afraid of confrontation. Okay, we just have...
And think about it. She's saying, as a white person going into a hood gas station or a hood restaurant, well, let's turn the tables. A black person going into a notoriously white restaurant, Do you think that's going to be a positive experience for that black person? Going into a notoriously and culturally white gas station, white establishment. Do you think there's not a higher chance you're going to run into some problems and might have the same things happen to you? What are you talking? You talking crazy, lady?
Shit going on in our lives to where we can control our emotions because we have a family to come home to. We have a family to come home. That's a big difference between being a wussy and a sissy, like we're called.
Now, what's going on with Anton right now is he's grasping for content. Like, this whole video is a reach where he's like just desperate to produce content out of anything. So he's even willing to try to, justify and co-sign the most ridiculous arguments. And he's going to fall apart on camera. This is pretty bad.
Called just because we don't want to go fight. It's not that we can't fight. We don't want to.
I don't see anything wrong with anything that she's saying. And more importantly, I guess, if you think about it, I do the same thing. And respectful black people do the same thing. And respectful Asians and Latino people that have a family to go home to and things that they want to actually see in their lifetime and they want to live to tomorrow, because it's people that don't have anything to live for, and because we know that if you go into ghetto spaces inside of liberal cities, that it's a possibility that it can go left and it can go up. And
okay. And there's no possibility in white towns, in white cities, in white establishments? Establishments that are not used to seeing black people? There's no possibility in white establishments. There's only a possibility in hood establishments, huh? Okay. All right, Anton.
White people, it's even worse because they see y'all as food, because now y'all have been made the enemy and the poster child for the enemy of America has now become the heterosexual white man. And I've always said
now he's not even making no sense. What are you talking? You all over the place, dude. You was just talking about hood establishments. Now you talking about white men being the most hated group in America? Dude, you tweaking. He tweaking already. Let me back this up. Maybe some of y'all was able to follow him on that.
Because they see y'all as food. Because know that if you go into ghetto spaces inside of liberal cities, that it's a possibility that it can go left and it can go up. And for white people, it's even worse because they see y'all as food, because now y'all have been made the enemy and the poster child for the enemy of America has now become the heterosexual white man. And I've always said that. I had a guy on my show today in the audience, obviously, and he said Anton wants to be white so bad. And if I looked at his profile picture and I brought him up and stuff like that, and he was an older black man like myself in his 40s, and he was throwing up a gang sign, and he had on all red with his hat turned to the back, and he looked like somebody that you would avoid. Again, not because you're afraid, similar to what she was talking about, but because you wanna make sure that you make it home to your daughter, and you don't even want to go to jail. You know what I'm saying, for getting into certain confrontations. And so you make sure you fill up before you go into certain spaces. Or for me personally,
Anton, you just look like a sucker. If there was anybody in the hood who was looking to rob somebody and they see your big potato head, bug-eyed, pooched lip, they would look at you and be like, that dude right there, let's get him. No doubt about it. If some thugs was looking for a lick, and let's say if there was some white supremacist biker gangs, because they're all over this country, remember that. All types of white supremacist gangs, you would look like a target to them too. Like, look at this funny looking potato head, pooched lip Negro with glasses. That's why. See, y'all talking like sissies. Like y'all walk around scared all the time. That's part of the reason why y'all probably get picked. Anton, see, a lot of people have assumed that Anton got picked on and bullied growing up. Why do people say that? Because you look like a lick. You look like a chump. You look weak. You look corny. Dude. And you partially to blame for that. Got this just, this funny look popping off. And listen, maybe some people just soft looking and scary looking and you walk around scared. And that's the thing. People see you, they look at you, they like, this dude just looks scared and terrified. So, you walk in front of them, you walking too slow, there's a good chance they're going to be like, man, get out the way. Get you big goofy looking dude. Get out my way. And you all scared and nervous. All right, but let's go on to where he falls apart. Because he falls apart in this video. He contradicts himself and he falls apart. He doesn't recover.
Before you go into certain spaces, or for me personally, and I talk about this on the Millionaire Morning Show on a regular basis, that I don't stay at certain lights in certain spaces for long periods of times. I gotta go. And if I get pulled over by the police, I'm okay with dealing with the ticket. It's just certain things that you don't...
You don't stay at certain lights? You really ride around that scared? Where you in the hood and there's a red light, you stop and you so scared that you run the red light? Is that what you just said, you scary coon? What the hell? Lord, I ain't never heard a man that scared in my life. My man said he'll stop at a stoplight and get scared and run the red light. Okay, Anton.
On periods of times I gotta go. And if I get pulled up,
I gotta go.
Periods of times I gotta go. I don't stay at certain lights in certain spaces for long periods of times. I gotta go. And if I get pulled over by the police, I'm okay with dealing with the ticket. It's just certain things that you don't put yourself in a position to have to deal with because you know what it comes with. And for white people in particular, and it also happens for black people, and I'm going to explain to you how it happens for black people. For white people, you are called racist because you are basically stereotyping and profiling, which is not a bad thing. That is a survival tactic. You are profiling.
No, black people are not saying nothing like that. Black people are not thinking about white people who avoid them. We're not even aware of white people who avoid them. If there are white people out here who avoid black people, how in the world would we be aware of that? So no, you're wrong. These people just be fantasizing.
In order to make sure that you preserve your safety and your sanity. For black people, we are stereotyping and profiling, but at the same time, we get called out of our name and we say that we're trying to be white if we make sure that we're doing the respectable thing. Now, the thing about it is that there are great black people and there are great white people. There's racist black people and there's racist white people.
Okay, if that's the case, then what are you talking? How are you agreeing with this chick if you're saying that there's good and bad people on both sides? Now you're contradicting yourself. Now you ain't making no sense. Now you're not being consistent. That lady just sat up there and said, I avoid all black people. And you say, oh, I don't see what's wrong with that. And then you turn around and say, there are good whites and bad whites. Good blacks and bad black. Okay, Anton, you confused coon.
There's racist black people and there's racist white people and black people, or whatever, right? But the thing about it is that...
Now, at this point, he realized that he's contradicting himself. And he's trying to think of a way to recover. And he never recovers. What he is about to do is he's about to sound very confused. Because he can't figure out how to get out of this contradiction that he just made. You're not supposed to say that, Anton, as a coon. You're not supposed to say there's good and bad on both sides. But he made a mistake, and he did. Now watch him try to recover. This is hilarious.
Black people, whatever, right? But the thing about it is that if I decide that I want to do business with good people, then I do good business with good people, and it doesn't matter if they black or white. When they're respectable, they don't really see color. They just have a good time. You do good business and you keep it moving. If you decide that you don't want to do business with deplorable black people or white people, then you think you're too good now all of a sudden. But the thing that I think that we need to
What the hell are you talking about? What are you talking about? It ain't making no sense.
make sure that we do, and this is universal, whether you white or black, because listen, I don't really even care if somebody avoids somebody else. My problem is when people try to push their narrative onto other people, or when they trying to push an agenda such as the alphabet community or something like that.
Dude, that's what she just did. She just pushed the narrative onto all black people. What are you talking about? And you ain't making no sense. He just crashed out. He has been getting criticized so bad, him and the rest of these coons, Hodge twins, all the rest of them, that they're trying to sound more reasonable so that they don't lose so much credibility. In his attempt to sound reasonable, now he's contradicting himself and sounding crazy. He started off trying to pander to his MAGA racist audience by saying that there was nothing wrong with what this lady said. And later on, tried to sound reasonable and point out that there are bad white people. You wasn't supposed to say that, fool. There are good and bad whites and good bad blacks. Which is more of the truth. And then he tried to get out of it. And he never got out of it. All he did was give a bunch of word salad and sound confused and lost his audience. I even saw Red Supreme respond to this, and he had to skip past this part because it's so confusing. You literally do not understand what this fool is talking about. People need to stop pretending like people are making sense when they're clearly not.
Deplorable black people or white people.
Wait.
Do good business with good people.
This
is
confused
white people or
code.
black people, whatever, right? Say that we're trying to be white if we make sure that we're doing the respectable thing. Now, the thing about it is that there are great black people and there are great white people. There's racist black people and there's racist white people and black people, whatever, right? But the thing about it is that if I decide that I want to do business with good people, then I do good business with good people, and it doesn't matter if they black or white. When they're respectable, they don't really see color. They just have a good time. You do good business and you keep it moving. If you decide that you don't want to do business with deplorable black people or white people, then you think you're too good now all of a sudden. But the thing that I think that we need to make sure that we do, and this is universal, whether you white or black, because listen, I don't really even care if somebody avoids somebody else. My problem is when people try to push their narrative onto other people, or when they trying to push an agenda such as the alphabet community or something like that. Listen, go off, live your life. You have the right to pursue happiness and liberty as you see fit, as long as you're not breaking no laws and you're not doing nothing egregious against somebody else. That's not racist. My problem is that we keep on trying to accommodate and listen to and talk to people that think differently than we do, when we are just respectable human beings living respectable lives. We gotta stop even talking to, apologizing to. That's why I always address white apologists. You have to stop talking to, trying to convince people to come your way and do it the right way and switch their lifestyle That is God's job. Your job is to be the beacon of light. Once they decide that they want to do different things differently, is to be the example. God is the person that got to turn their heart, and some of these people are born to be deplorable.
What is you talking about? You totally left the topic. You were supposed to be talking about this white lady who said she avoid black businesses in the hood. And then he quickly turned, after he contradicted himself, turned it into some type of moral lecture. Yeah, you got to do good with good people and see the good in the good people and go on about your business and be a beacon of light. Shut your confused coon ass up. This dude. Oh, God. Listen, man. If you're subscribed to somebody and they just go off on this confused, contradicted tantrum, just tell them about it. Or if you don't, let them know, like, hey, man, you ain't making no sense right now. They're going to keep doing that. This ain't the first time I heard Anton do this, where he just starts spazzing out and just babbling. This is just coon babble. Coon babble, dude. Oh, my goodness. That was one of the worst crash outs. Now, next time, I bet you he'll know better than to do that. You can't follow behind a video like this and say that there are good and bad on both sides. See, sometimes he forgets to be a stone cold coon. He's under so much pressure. Him, Hodge twins, the Tatum guy, they're under so much pressure right now. They're under more pressure right now than they've ever been. That they're sort of trying to augment their philosophy. And it's not working. Don't ever try that again. Anton, you have always been unreasonable. An unreasonable coon. Tap dancing. Don't try to sound reasonable now. He's trying to use the same anti-black content, yet when he gives his commentary trying to sound more reasonable. No, you can't even do that. It's just downhill for you coons right now.
We'll have people like this.
Stop letting white people think they can get online and say whatever they want about black people or any other minority ethnic groups. I'm not ignoring it. I'm not blocking them. I'm not sweeping it under the rug. That's modern day segregation that you're allowing. They are brainwashing you into being what you think is the, quote, bigger person. When in reality, they're allowing you to be okay with segregation again. There is a difference between freedom of speech and racism. They cannot exploit.
What? Social media segregation? What in the world? Man, I am glad that I don't have to deal with these types of videos to make content. This lady don't even make no sense. Online segregation, huh? So what? We supposed to give a moral lecture to every racist white person on the internet? The only thing I do is point out where the argument is flawed. But anybody is open for that, regardless of what you're talking about. If you have a flawed argument, you have a flawed argument, and somebody might point it out. But I'm not going to do it for the sake of, avoiding segregation, whatever type of segregation she's talking about. But, Lord, listen to this.
Us if they're facing real life consequences of their action.
What do people think that they can do to somebody else to force them to be around them or interact with them or to not say what they want to say? That's what I'm trying to understand. Because Here's the thing. If you're going to hold somebody accountable, then you got to hold people accountable across the board. And nobody can say anything, which then leads to censorship. I'm not for censorship. I don't even censor people in my own chat. I don't even stop people from talking negatively about me in my own chats when I do my own live streams. And I've conditioned the people that live stream with me on after hours to do the same thing and or interact with the chat. And you can talk back and forth to them, but we don't censor anybody. What makes people think that they can go and tell somebody else what it is that they can and can't talk about? Because nobody...
That's not even what she said, Anton. She said, don't ignore them. She didn't say censor them. You can't censor them. How can you censor random people on the internet? She just said, don't ignore them. Now, I assume that means respond to them, give them pushback, maybe point out their flawed arguments. But in doing that, even if I were to do that, it's not to prevent modern day segregation. Like, what in the world? I can't, it surprises me that this type of content gets so much attention. Content where people just don't be making no sense. These conversations, these discussions, these lectures, they are confusing. Get off into this. They be trying to sound all super intelligent, more intelligent than they are. Keep things simple, please. That's what most people like, simplicity. Who is that historical figure who used to simplify things and then became famous for making things so simple that a child could understand it? People have lost touch with that type of communication, and they need to get back to it real quick. I will leave it there.